largest species of dolphin? Orcas, that's right. And then there are pilot whales and then false killer whales like Chester. The reason they have that funny sounding name is because scientists noticed the similarities between their teeth and their skull to killer whales when they were naming this species. False killer whales are a subtropical species. They're more likely to be found in warmer waters and only occasionally spotted here on our coast in British Columbia. Although Chester is the larger dolphin of the two, he's also the younger at just 3 years old. And joining Chester and Helen, we have trainer Anna. Let's give everyone a welcoming round of applause. People have been dazzled by dolphins for many years now, and this is great for us because with your support, dolphins have a greater chance of survival because of the research programs happening here at the Vancouver Aquarium. In fact, both dolphins you're seeing have gotten a second chance at life because both are rescued and non-releasable animals. Helen, the Pacific white-sided dolphin, you can take a look at those pectoral flippers underneath her body there, and you can still see the damage from being tangled up in fishing nets. That happened to her many years ago off the coast of Japan. Unfortunately, it is something that happens to over 300,000 whales and dolphins in our oceans every single year. But Helen was lucky. She was rescued and cared for at a Japanese rehabilitation facility and brought back to health. She was deemed non-releasable. That means she can't return to the ocean as she would not be able to survive. So she needed a permanent home and she came here to the Vancouver Aquarium in 2005. For Chester, the false killer whale, his rescue story starts a lot closer to home. Has anyone here been to Vancouver Island before? Yes, hands going up. If you're familiar with Vancouver Island, do you know of Chesterman Beach? It's at the west coast of Vancouver Island, near Tofino, and it was there 3 years ago that people found Chester stranded on that beach. At the time, he was only about 1 month old. He was injured from the stranding, and we don't know how such a young dolphin was separated from his family. He received 24-hour care at our Marine Mammal Rescue Center, such that he is the healthy dolphin you see before you today. At 1 year old, he was deemed non-releasable by Fisheries and Oceans Canada, in part because he lacks the life skills that he would have learned from his family to survive out in the ocean. Our Marine Mammal Rescue Center that cared for Chester has been caring for injured and orphaned animals for the past 50 years now. We've been able to care for dolphins, seals, sea lions, whales, and none of that could be possible without the experience that our trainers have working with these animals day in and day out. These training sessions, like the one that you're seeing, do happen every single day, and they would happen regardless of whether or not there's people like you watching, because there's very important reasons why we have these training sessions. These training sessions are opportunities for the dolphins to use their muscles and to use their brains to stay physically and mentally active. Because when they're coming out of the water like this or swimming around on their bellies or on their backs, they are using their muscles. Out in the ocean, they would work hard to find their food and avoid their predators. Here they get all the food they need and no predators, so it's important that they have the chance also to use their muscles in these training sessions. But as well as getting just physical exercise, these training sessions are also a great opportunity for them to keep their minds active. We just saw Helen do a little bit of multitasking there, shaking her head, making that vocalization and coming out of the water. And that's a great example of the way that these training sessions can keep our animals mentally active. Almost like us tapping our head and rubbing our bellies and maybe tapping your foot at the same time. More than that, though, each training session is actually different. It's an opportunity for the dolphins to continually learn, always keeps things interesting. No two training sessions are the same. So it's kind of like when we are reading a book or doing a Sudoku puzzle or a crossword. You don't want to do the same crossword every single day, and so these training sessions are different every single day. And then throughout this training session, you might also see the trainers getting a good look at the animals, getting to look inside their mouth, on their back, on their belly, and that's a way for the trainers to get a good check over of each animal every single day. And then they can practice different healthcare behaviors, like how to stay very still for an ultrasound or how to present their tail for a blood draw. All of these are the important things that happen in these training sessions that happen every single day. And these training sessions also allow us to train for some research behaviors to help us to learn more about their counterparts out in the ocean. Because dolphins are difficult to study out in the ocean. They spend so much of their time under the surface of the water, and if scientists want to know where they're going, they may choose to attach some satellite trackers, maybe some cameras, some depth sounders. There's a species of dolphin near New Zealand called dusky dolphins. Has anyone been to New Zealand before? Oh, actually some hands going up. Well, if you are familiar with dusky dolphins, you'll know they look a little bit like our Pacific white-sided dolphin. And unfortunately, those dusky dolphins have been in decline. So researchers in New Zealand wanted to perfect their design for a suction cup satellite tag that could stay on a dusky dolphin's body and give them some more information about what's happening to that population. But in order to perfect their design of this technology that hadn't been used on this type of dolphin before, they had to come all the way here, and Helen was able to help them with their research because she could wear a prototype. The trainers could ask her to do all sorts of different behaviors where the researchers could watch, see how their design was doing, and then modify their design so that these trackers could be used more effectively out in the ocean. And that's just one example of the research that happens here that helps dolphins out in the ocean. Our researchers are working hard to learn as much as they can about dolphins, whales, and porpoises, a group of animals collectively known as cetaceans. And we need your help. Is there anyone here who has seen a dolphin, whale, or porpoise out in the ocean before? Lots of hands going up. Did you know that every time you see one, you can tell us where you've seen them? Every time you report a sighting, this will help us to track species movements and to identify what their habitat is, which is valuable information for policymakers and other researchers. But if you would like to help, maybe you need a few tips on how to identify what species you might be seeing. So let's take a close look at both dolphins and figure out some characteristics to look for to help you figure out what species. First, take a look at those different colors. You can see that Helen is dark on her back, light on her belly. That's coloring called counter shading. That helps her to hide from predator and prey as that lighter belly blends in with the bright sky. Compare that to Chester, who is gray all over with only a subtle lighter gray stripe along the belly, and that's actually coloring more similar to pilot whales that's typical of dolphins that might spend a little more time in deeper waters. Other than looking at the color, also take a look at the size. If you see a dolphin in our local waters that's about 2 meters or about 6 feet, that could be a Pacific white-sided dolphin. False killer whales can grow much larger. At full size, they can reach up to 6 meters or 20 feet. That's about the width of that green tent to my right. So look at the color and look at the size, but also get a good look at that dorsal fin. Does anyone know where's the dorsal fin? You can shout it out if you know. Is it on the front, on the back? On the back, that's right. On the back of each dolphin is a dorsal fin that has a unique color pattern and shape. It's as unique as a fingerprint. So when you're out on the water and you see a dorsal fin coming out of the surface of the water, try and snap a good photo. If you can snap a good photo and send that to our researchers at our BC Cetacean Sightings Network, our researchers might be able to take a look at that, compare it to our catalog, and tell you exactly which individual you saw. So remember to get a good look at that dorsal fin along the back. Take a look at the size and the colors to figure out what you might be seeing so you can then tell us where you're seeing them. Are you all ready now to help us with our research? Are you going to report all your sightings to our Cetacean Sightings Network? That's great. If you would like to help, the first thing you can do is download our free Whale Report app. That Whale Report app is free to download. It gives you information about the local cetaceans in our area and the tools you need to tell us where you've seen them. With your support, dolphins have a greater chance of survival because of the research programs happening here, like that BC Cetacean Sightings Network, which I hope all of you will now participate in. The Vancouver Aquarium and Oceanwise Initiative is a non-profit organization dedicated to the conservation of aquatic life, and we couldn't do it without your support. So on behalf of myself, the dolphins, and the trainers, thank you so much for being here today, and have a wonderful rest of your visit here at the Vancouver Aquarium. If you would like to read more about the different research projects the dolphins have participated in, or if you would like to see a video of the day that Chester was rescued, that can be found in our underwater viewing gallery. Reach through the stairs at the opposite side of the habitat from me, all the way at the end of the Orange Bridge. If you have any questions about anything you've seen or heard, my name is Beatrice, and I'd love to answer any questions you may have, especially if it's about how to download that whale report app, or if you want to tell me of where you've seen dolphins and cetaceans out in the ocean. And if you're looking for another training session at 1:45, there is a sea lion training session that's going to happen at Stellar's Bay. Stellar's Bay is at the other side of the outside area. Feel free to continue getting a good look at our dolphins. Just remember, if you're going to be watching from outdoors, make sure all of your personal belongings like cameras, maps, cell phones, water bottles, everything stays on your side of the railing. If you do see anything falling in the water, please alert a member of staff right away so we can then get it out. Thanks so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your visit at the Vancouver Aquarium.
How much do you have?
Sorry to bother you folks, would you mind please keep everything this side of the railing at all times? Thank you.
Can you come out with him?
Yeah, no.